Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to talk about all the books that I read in May. I read a total of 11 books, which not too shabby, round of applause if you will. 11 books, but almost 13 because I am still reading 2 of the books that I started in May. And we're gonna finish them up real quick because I am smack dab in the middle of both of them. I had 4 rereads, 1 arc, and then I read 6 out of the 8 from my TBR jar. That honestly might be the best I've ever done from the TBR jar, not gonna lie. That is so good. And one of the books that I'm currently reading is from that TBR jar. So we almost read 7 out of 8. Let's get into it though. Let's start with my least favorite to my favorite. So my least favorite book of the month was The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. This is the first book in the Bridgerton series. I literally am not gonna tell you all a lot about this because I genuinely have like 2 feature films on this channel explaining this series. So link it up there somewhere. Y'all can watch it if you would like to, but 1.5 stars. Originally when I read it, I gave it 2.5. And since this one was a reread, I didn't like it anymore this time around. And in all honesty, it was worse. It was worse this go around. So a little bit of a bummer, but that's all right. Almost Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose is my first book by Geneva Rose, and I ended up giving it 2.75 stars. I'm in the minority for this rating. Everyone I've seen has given it 5 stars, and I wanted to love this one so much. I just needed more. It's around the 250 page mark, so it's a pretty short thriller. And the pacing was just off for me. It was pretty slow for a thriller that was this short. And also, like, not to toot my own horn, but I guess the ending within the first 30 pages. So yeah. I just made the ending a little lackluster for me. I definitely want to read more from her in the future. I've heard The Perfect Marriage is amazing. This one just did not work for me. So in this book, we were following 3 siblings. They returned home after their mother had passed. One of them was taking care of their mother right before she passed, and the mother looks to her and says, "Do not trust." Pauses for a second and then goes, "Your father?" And then the mother passes away. The main girl is asking herself, do I tell my siblings what our mother just said about our dad? Our dad, who is missing, by the way. We have not seen him in years. And we go from there. Again, it's only 250 pages, so I'm not gonna give y'all any more with the synopsis. Hopefully y'all end up loving it more than I did. Okay, the rest of the books I read this month were all 4-star and up, which is beautiful. So, I did Happy Medium by Sarah Adler, and I ate this book up. This is one of the quirkiest rom-coms I have ever read. It reminded me so much of an early 2000s movie. Ooh, it reminded me so much of fun. As I was reading this one, I was picturing the main girl as Sandra Bullock from Practical Magic. That era of Sandra Bullock was our main girly here, and this one was just so fun. Let me give you all the synopsis. In this book, we are following a fake medium / a con artist named Gretchen. Gretchen has a client who comes up to her and says, "I will give you $10,000 if you go to my friend's farm and get rid of the ghost that is haunting it." And Gretchen's thinking to herself, yeah, I can easily fake getting rid of a ghost for you to give me $10,000. Easy peasy. So she goes to the farm, and the farmer immediately is skeptical of her and being like, "Why are you even here? I did not ask this lady to do this. You are fake. I know that you are a con artist. Give her her money back and leave." As Gretchen is leaving, she is stopped. Stopped by who, you might ask? An actual ghost. An actual ghost is now recruiting Gretchen, trying to save the farm and make sure that our farmer does not sell this farm. Our ghost explains to Gretchen that if the farmer chooses to sell this land, he will end up being a ghost and having to haunt the farm as well. And Gretchen is like, you know what? I will help you save the day. Let's go try and convince the skeptical farmer that there actually is a haunting going on here. And this book is just so fun. There's a lot of tension between our farmer and Gretchen. A lot of tension, and it's just so good and so unique. And I really enjoy this one. I definitely want to read more from Sarah Adler in the future. Let's talk about the next 3 books in the Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn. So I read The Viscount Who Loved Me, An Offer from a Gentleman, and Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. Again, these are all rereads, and I'm not gonna go in depth because I already did on this channel. Again, check out the video if you would like. I gave The Viscount Who Loved Me a 5-star, I gave An Offer from a Gentleman a 5-star, and I gave Romancing Mr. Bridgerton a 4-star. This was originally a 4.25, but I did lower it just a little bit. Overall, I still had a really great time reading these, and they were a bunch of fun. If you're in the mood for a very quick, fast-paced historical romance, great place to start. Also, if you've never read a historical romance before, this series is an amazing one to start with. Highly recommend. Other than the first book, of course, because I really did not like this one, but the rest of them, great. Great. Next on Kindle Unlimited, I read King of Sloth by Anna Huang. This is the 4th book in the King of Sins series. I liked this one. There wasn't really anything special to it in my opinion, especially since I had just read the last 2 books in the series back to back. It just felt very repetitive. I don't know if I'm going to be continuing on in this series or not. I'm still trying to decide. But in King of Sloth, we are following Sloane and Xavier. Sloane does PR for Xavier, so there is a little bit of that workplace romance. There's also the black cat golden retriever dynamic, which I really just ate up. I truly love that trope with all of my heart, and so that was a really fun element in it. I just wish that there was a little bit of variety with this book, because I feel like I have read this before. I have seen this film before, ladies and gents. I also read Fragile Sanctuary by Catherine Cowles on Kindle Unlimited. This book was great. I ended up giving it 4.25 stars. This is the first book in Catherine Cowles' newest series, and y'all are sleeping on Catherine Cowles. If you love a thriller and you are trying to enter your romance era, this is for you. Catherine Cowles writes interconnected romance standalones that have a suspenseful / thriller adjacent subplot to them that just go hard. And let me tell you, I can never guess the ending. For it being a romance book, I find it very impressive that I can't guess the thriller twist at the end, and that is all I could ask for. Oh, it is so good. In this book, we are following Rhodes, who lost her family very, very tragically when she was younger. After this happens, Rhodes gets placed in a foster home, still in the same town, so she really didn't have to move, and she loves her foster family so much. They still keep in touch. They hang out on the regular. They are a true family. So let's pan to the future. Rhodes is in the process of repairing the house that her family lived in, and one of her foster brothers is head of construction on this process. He brings in one of his friends from college who is named Anson, whom we love. He is amazing. Anson also has a very tragic backstory, and so him and Rhodes really do relate on a lot of levels. Anson is a grump through and through, but for some reason, he opens up so much to Rhodes, and it is so, so amazing. But let's go to the thriller aspect of this book, because I told y'all something very, very tragic happened to Rhodes' family when she was younger. She barely survived, and certain things are starting to happen again in this town targeted to Rhodes. This is leading everyone in Rhodes' life to think maybe what happened to Rhodes' family wasn't actually an accident like it was reported to be. Maybe this was indeed planned, and now they're back to almost finish the job, which is putting Rhodes' life in danger, and she needs some protection. It's so good. I started The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I put this book off for so long because I kept thinking to myself, there's no way on this earth that this book is actually worth the hype that TikTok keeps giving it. I stand corrected, because this book was so good. I literally devoured this thing. And this is literally YA Criminal Minds. So if you're wanting a little more angst and drama from Criminal Minds, this is for you. And there's also a love triangle that goes on here, and love triangles are truly the bane of my existence. But I wasn't mad at this one. I wasn't mad at this one at all. And I know all of y'all that have read this are probably gonna be like, what, to what I'm about to say? But trust the process, because this love triangle actually reminded me a lot of The Summer I Turned Pretty, because there is one guy who was just like Conrad, then there's another guy who gives off strong Jeremiah vibes. So if you really like that love triangle, but you want it to be set in a YA thriller world, this is for you. As I said, it is just like Criminal Minds, except we are dealing with teens. And so we are following our main girl, Cassie. She's been really good at reading people / profiling people for as long as she can remember. And the government learns of this. So they go to where she is working and they tell her, hey Cassie, we know that you are 17 years old, but we are starting a new program called The Naturals, and we would love to have your help in this. Here's some cold cases. Just go through them, meet everyone else on the team, and we'll just see where you go from there. And we'll end up training you so that when you're older, you can work for us. She does this, she goes through the process, she's really thriving here, and then all of a sudden this new case that the government is working on is tying back to Cassie's childhood, and Cassie is very confused as to why everything is kind of coming back and how they are able to reach her through this program. It's very good. Low-key for a thriller, it was kind of scary. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I read this at night and I was a little spooked out. Indeed, but it was fun. I need the next book ASAP. Probably be one of my first reads in the month of June. Loved. 4.5 stars. Did I say that? 4.5 stars. Next I read How to End a Love Story. I'm also giving this one 4.5 stars. I actually listened to this one on audio and it was such a win. I probably looked like a crazy person because I was losing my mind listening to the audio. I had my headphones on and I was just facial reactions all the way. And it was so good. I had all the butterflies. I was giddy. I was smiling. I was shocked. My jaw was on the floor. All of the above. All of the above. The author of this book is actually who is writing the screenplay for Emily Henry's book adaptation of Beach Read. And we are in safe hands because she handles banter so well. The banter was everything in this book. But I would just like to say that this book here has so much depth to it. And that is one of my favorite things in romance books, is when it's not just all fluff and we have that element of depth. The way that the author presented grief was immaculate. I loved how she handled it, and I loved how she showed that grief is not one size fits all, and people handle it differently for various lengths of time, various ways. And this was stunning. I'm not gonna go any more in depth on this because I do have a reading vlog dedicated with all my thoughts, the synopsis, all the above. Check it out if you want to hear more, but definitely add it to your TBR. It is worth it. I wish it was just like a little shorter, but like other than that, it was great. Finally, I read Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. I also gave this one 4.5 stars. I've never read anything by this author. This is the author of Same Time Next Summer. Once again, had a really great element of depth to it, and also handled grief. I don't know why we read so many books of grief in the month of May, but anywho, we're following our main character who is still in the grieving process. Her mother passed away 2 years ago. On the 1-year anniversary of her mother's passing, her husband looks at her and says, "This isn't working out, we should get a divorce." Again, this is on the 1 year of her mother's passing, like to the day he says this to her. They have 3 kids together, mind you. They've been together for years. And he says this to her. She doesn't even argue. She says, "Okay, perfect. Pack up your things. Get on out. We'll handle it." This is the one where everything really falls into place for her. She realizes, my mom would not want me to have stopped living my life just because she isn't here anymore. And so she's decided, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out and go on some dates. I'm gonna find someone who's actually going to treat me properly in the way that I should have been treated, but also I'm gonna have fun. When was the last time I even had fun? And she meets literally the perfect man. I'm not even kidding you, he is the perfect man. She to herself is saying, "You are the perfect man." And then a little later down the road, we realize that they do actually have a little bit of a connection, which I'm not gonna spoil for y'all because you need to see it, because I was shook. But I loved the premise of it. It is just a cute beach read, poolside read, read outside on your patio type of book. And y'all definitely need to add it to your TBR. 4.5 stars if I didn't already mention that. I own Time Next Summer by her, and I'm taking this one on vacation with me. She was just that good. I couldn't stop. And I forgot to mention, I read this book in 2 sittings, and the only reason I didn't finish it in 1 sitting was because it was literally 2 a.m. and I had to go to sleep. Her writing style was just that addictive. It was just that addictive, I couldn't stop. And that's the best feeling in the world. Oh, I loved it so much. I am so excited just to read more from her. As I said earlier, I didn't finish 2 books and I'm still currently reading them. So those books are Archer's Voice. I know, isn't that so exciting? And then Crescent City. I know, isn't that so exciting? Like, are we kidding? 2 of the most popular books ever, and those are the ones that I'm reading, and they're gonna be the first 2 books that I finish in the month of June. And y'all, let me just tell you, I am thoroughly enjoying both of them. I'm listening to Archer's Voice. I will say right now, I do wish I would have read it physically, but we're committed to the audiobook at this point. We're committed, and it is what it is. Crescent City, not expecting to love, and I really, really like it, and it's giving me the vibes of Zootopia. And I know everyone at home is probably laughing at the screen right now with that, but it really is giving me the vibes of the movie Zootopia, which I never thought I would say for a Sarah J. Maas novel, but here we are. Anyway, guys, that is all I have for today's video. Let me know down below what the best book you read in May was, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, make sure that you're subscribed. Anyway, see y'all later. Love y'all and have a great day. Bye, guys.